started,
Okay,
7:01. Call the meeting to order. So did you announce everybody who's here already, or we have to? Well,
I think
here comes Beth.
I have Lori Barefoot, Jean, Jordan, Lee, Crystal, and myself.
And Beth Bernard
Beth just showed up.
Beth, okay,
Okay. So there's no alternates to seats. Oh, no. Here's Jean. Okay.
No, it's
So,
just waving.
Yeah. Okay, approval of minutes. Anyone have a
I
chance to
move
read?
to approve the minutes.
Okay,
Second it.
okay, we have a second. Any discussion? Are you hearing none? All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Anyone opposed? Anyone abstaining? Passes. There's no public participation. Grace, treasurer's report. Oh, Maura just showed up.
oh, okay, hold
Ignore
on,
that.
let me jot her down. Treasurer's report, we are at $1,914. It's the new year. And our special remained the same at $2,161.22.
Hey, any questions for the treasurer? Hey, chairperson's report, nothing to report. Any communications?
I
Third
didn't
grade.
check, I checked it last week, there was nothing.
Okay, that's easy. Old business, Jean, DRC.
I did not see anything on the planning and zoning agenda that pertained to overview for oversight from us.
Yeah, and we didn't meet. Crystal, open space.
Our next meeting, which is Thursday, August 11th at 7, our town attorney, Rich Roberts, will be joining us, and the Open Space Committee has sent him some questions pertaining the selling of town-owned land and issues around the Quarry Road parcels, and we'll be meeting to discuss that.
Any questions for Crystal? Okay, as P and Z, as Jean mentioned, there's nothing applicable to our committee.
We are
Great.
discussing new regulations. One is for potential regulations regarding cannabis distribution. And they want to modify the regulations, I think, for small-owned businesses. I just read it, but I can't remember. That was 10 minutes ago.
Yeah, well, I mean, we'll see. You know, I don't know if they'll ask our advice, but cannabis takes a lot of water to grow. In order,
I don't think it's for growing it. I think it's for distribution, for sales.
Oh, I thought it was because they were talking about Orange Art becoming a grower. It wasn't a sales place. It would be a growing.
So
I
this is Crystal Adams. I don't know about Orange Art, but I do know per the state regulation about cannabis, Woodstock, because of our size, we could be allowed up to one grower and one distributor, but
Right.
it's up, P&Z has a moratorium right now to further investigate the issue.
Right,
And I
but
think
when
they're
but applying to the growing, it takes lots of water. Okay, Grace, Ag Commission.
Nothing new that would definitely affect us, of course, except the locally grown day coming up,
Yeah,
which
well,
I have later on, yes.
okay, anyone or any questions for Grace? Any report on stewardship? Anything new going on there?
No.
Anything with pollinator pathway gene?
I was just going to bring up locally grown day and whether or not that was something that we would be willing to table someplace.
We have that coming up later, Regina.
Okay, I've done I will mention that the monarch butterfly has just been added to the endangered species list.
It's about time.
Wow. Wow.
Hmm?
Just saying, wow, I didn't realize that was coming, the endangered species.
It was very political. They did not want to do it, but it happened. I was surprised to see the announcement.
Yeah, when they go back south, I think it's in Mexico, there's a very small space that they return to.
But it's not just Mexico that's
Right,
the issue. It's the migratory route and the
Right.
loss of habitat.
Yep.
And climate change and things not flowering when they're supposed to, and
Right.
you know.
The pollinators. But it's about time, because this should have happened a long time ago. Crystal, Sustainable Connecticut.
I don't have anything new to report.
Wow, this is flying. Okay, anyone have opportunity to attend any conferences or workshops in the last month? Or does anyone have any, oh, Jean,
I went to one of the Yale seminars and it was really interesting because I'd never thought about trees having bacteria or viruses inside the sap like we have them in our blood. And so apparently somebody had done some studies about it, and it was pretty interesting to listen to. The last seminar of the series is this week, Wednesday night, beginning at 6:30, and the focus is going to be on mountain laurel.
hey, anyone else attend anywhere? And if not, anyone have any workshops to report coming up besides Jean here?
I do. The annual Covered's Weekend is happening September 15th through 17th. So that's a landowner education weekend that happens at Great Mountain Forest. And the focus is how to manage your forest and land to support wildlife. You can go on the CFPA website for registration and info and everything like that. And we're also accepting the second cohort of master woodland managers. And so that's a year-long program. And we focus on everything from wildlife to climate change to the economic considerations of managing your woodland. So that starts on September 1st, the second cohort. So if anyone has any questions, they can reach out to me and I'm happy to help.
Thank you. I got one, the Kakiwik's going to be October 29th. Always a great conference. Actually, I don't know if it's live or not. Hang on. Let's see what they
Yeah.
said. It doesn't look like, oh, it's going to be hybrid. So live and online, hybrid conference. And then they actually, I forgot, do we pay Kakiwik dues, or does that come from the town? now?
Oh, I'm pretty sure we do. I'll have to go look back at the, oh, isn't that the one that we split with somebody else?
With wetlands. We
Okay,
in
Is that
wetlands,
Tacky?
we get a discount if we in wetlands and conservation are both members, then we get
Yeah.
a discount on the membership.
so who cuts the check?
The town.
So it's not out of our budget?
It is out of
Yeah.
our budget.
Okay. Well, the,
I'll get in touch with find out when it is and get in touch with the treasurer.
okay, because the email said that, dues are, annual dues are. Okay, anyone else have any workshops to report? Okay, so if not, we'll talk about the locally grown events. So floor is open. Any thoughts, ideas about, what we should be doing there?
Well, what is the date? It's August 6th, right?
Yes.
So it's coming up pretty quickly. Are we in a position to come up with a new topic? Or do we just want to continue to sign people up for the pollinator pathway now that we have another small package of medallions that we can distribute?
Yeah, so, I mean, I thought, just with short notice, I think, having a booth and rolling out pollinator pathway is good for us. And then, I was gonna ask Crystal, do you have your own table for Sustainable Connecticut, Crystal, or do you want us to?
No, I don't have a table. I'm gonna be there from, I think I emailed you and Jean. I think I was
Yeah.
gonna be there from like noon to 2 for open space. And Amy Monahan said she can put open space and conservation tables together. And so I could do
Oh.
both conservation and open space if needed from noon to 2. But I'll be biking in the morning, so I will be done and ready to host a table at noon.
So do you want to have any information? So I was thinking either having information about Sustainable Connecticut or having at least a picture of the new trails over by in Pond Factory.
Well,
Yeah,
we could table copies of the map.
Yeah, I
Has
just,
that been updated, Beth? The map has been updated?
Yeah,
Okay. So if you could get us a copy of the map that's updated and we can put that on the table to let people know that it's there. I think that'd be a good thing.
think
As I was
Crystal,
not there last year, I'm not familiar. Do we need to have a table, Crystal, or does Chase have them set up for us, or what?
I
Was
was
that
not
not a
there
Chase
last year.
this
I was
year?
out of town.
I thought it's at the
Last
great.
year, we brought our own canopy, we brought our own table, and we brought our own chairs. We were set up at Chase Lumberyard and it was, we were right next to the edge of the parking lot. And there were other people there. I don't know. Crystal, do you know where open space is going to be set up?
I think we're both going to be set up side by side, I believe at Chase.
Okay.
Oh, so it is at Chase. I thought it was at the Grange.
The
No,
Grange is having their like a fair, like there's going to be like a contest at the fair, and that's going to be at the Grange. Like there's going to
and
be displays at the Grange.
Okay. But
And
the
there's
main,
a number, the
There's a
local
number of things
farm stores are
happen.
gonna have, be on a map and all that other stuff. So
There's
it's
a
not just
number of
gonna be one
components.
location.
There's a number
Okay,
of
one at a
components
time,
to the
guys.
event. Sorry, there's a number of components to the event, and I think there's a breakfast at the Grange and then some other activities. And then they
Yes.
hand out maps so that people can go to different farms and do tours. And then they have the thing at Chase. So they have like different things going on.
okay. So we're gonna have a table. We're gonna have pollinator pathway and maps of the new trails. Crystal, do you want to have any information on Sustainable Connecticut on our table?
I could do that. It's more like the actual act of doing the event itself is more like something that, that Amy or someone can go onto the Sustainable Connecticut website and plug in as something for getting points. But I'll see if they have like a flyer or a brochure that I can print off copies.
Yeah, just to let
Crystal, I.
information, hold on, Grace. Yeah, just,
Okay.
to disseminate information, the more times we have the opportunity to let the community know that this program is actually in place, the more people may eventually help us with it. But go ahead, Grace.
What I was going to say, I actually spoke to Amy, and I did go on the computer trying to see, she doesn't have anything up on the computer, which is upsetting. But,
Or-
well, to give you any idea what to do, you're saying you're going to have a table there. Now, we have to bring a table there, and what's the time frame? do you want me to just get in touch with Amy and figure this all out?
Yeah, I think Amy's the one to talk to.
Mm-hmm.
Let me see if I can find it on Facebook.
What is this again? With Jordan? What's the
This
event?
is what was, you were there last year, Jordan. It's the thing at Chase, the local
Yeah,
grown,
I remember doing that. What day is it? We're doing this though.
August 6th.
Thank you.
Jordan, you were there and remember the first selectman came and he was
I remember
talking to us.
you being there, yeah.
So, so I'm back up. We have to provide our own table, or there's a table for us next to your
No, we
table?
have to provide our own.
That's
Last year
correct.
I brought everything.
No, but Crystal mentioned a table next to open space table.
Open Space is
She's
gonna bring
going
their
to
own
put our-
table.
This is Crystal Lee. Amy's
Yeah.
going to put the open space and conservation next to each other. It's not like a free-for-all set up at the Chase. I think people register to set up a booth and then she makes a map of where you set up your booths. And she said she
No, I
would put,
understand. But when you said table, it's a space for our, it's not a physical table. We have to bring the
Yes.
physical table. It's a
Yeah.
space, okay. So, and Jean, you have the table?
Actually, I don't necessarily have a table unless we clean one off.
Does anyone else have a table? That may,
I have a small table. I don't have a large rectangular table.
I have a regular table. I have a good sized table.
okay. And what time does the
I'm still
event-
looking it up.
Has she advertised on the different
No.
places? Crystal, did
No.
you get anything for the town website?
She sent me something for the town website. I didn't get a chance to put it up today because I was doing other things.
Oh,
But I know I know I've seen it on Facebook.
Yeah, I've seen it on Facebook. I'm trying to find it.
Maybe on the Senexit Grange
It
page.
wasn't there.
No,
That's weird. You think it would be there?
yeah,
Last year's.
I see it. It was posted June 28th. Working on this great event today, again, save the date. Please let me know if you want to participate. It's got her name and email and phone number. If you go to Senexit Grange,
Yeah, but it doesn't say the time. I did see that.
I guess she's thinking that people will contact her. I'm not sure.
I know I've seen it, but I kind of didn't pay attention.
Let me go into my work email and see what was sent, because I know something came to my work email and I just wasn't able to get it on the website today.
yeah, that's just, so we have an idea of, set up time and
Yeah,
what we need.
okay, event flyers, locally grown.
It's also, the rain date is Sunday. I did see that.
Not gonna rain. Hasn't rained in a long time,
Yeah.
unfortunately.
Okay, the Grange thing says 8 to 2 for the Senexit Grange Fair.
Okay.
But I don't know if the Chase thing starts at 8 or starts a little later in the morning. Because I think at 8 they have like the breakfast at the Grange.
Yeah. And somebody else has got a breakfast too. One of the farms.
Okay,
As
That's cool.
I said, that was, obviously it was discussed at the Ag Commission, but Amy did say that she was gonna have information out there, and as you said, I haven't found it.
all right, do you want me to text her real quick?
That would
Yeah.
help.
Yeah, good idea.
Okay, yeah, give me a minute.
I'm looking at last year's flyer. They didn't even give a time.
Dean, I'm trying to remember what time we set up.
I just know I had to leave in the middle of it to go to Patrick's memorial service.
I don't think we were there before 10.
I think we were, yeah, I think it was started at 10. I can't remember when it was 10 to 2 or 10 to 4. 10 to 2 sounds good.
Yeah, let's go with that.
It might be worth noting that right now, the prediction for that day is 91 degrees and a 40% chance of thunderstorms.
Well, aren't you just the bearer of rotten news?
It depends
That's a
on the
60%
humidity.
chance of what rain?
That's true.
It
But
actually
I mean,
rained
they
last
can't
year.
predict what's gonna happen tomorrow, so come on.
It did rain
91.
last year. Remember, Gene, there were thunderstorms, but it wasn't bad. It was just sort of off and on. And
I think that's when I was at Patrick's service. I was inside a barn.
yeah, and it was windy though. And that, make sure you account for the wind because I think stuff kept blowing over. So you had to keep, remember, Jordan? Oh my God.
Remember, yeah,
It's like,
yeah, right.
you had to like, I think Eugene pinned everything like with, I don't even know what, binder clips or something.
So
Still
assuming it starts,
scrolling.
so assuming it starts at 10, Jordan, can you get there like at, 9:45 or so with your table?
Sure, 9:30, yeah, definitely.
Okay.
And
And
Yeah, it
I
takes
have a
longer.
canopy and I don't think I have extra canopy weights because I'm using them on a different canopy. I have a canopy I could set up.
Yeah, stakes to the ground, Gene.
it's in the
It
parking
does
lot.
have stakes to stake it to the ground, but as I recall, that ground wasn't especially,
Stakeable.
solid. The stakes I have are not great.
It's not in the parking lot, Lee. It's on the grass, just adjacent to the parking lot.
Oh,
All booths there were no booths in the parking lot?
No, they're in the grass and the people
Okay.
walk around on the parking lot, from what I
Okay.
remember.
Okay. So who can be there? So Crystal is going to be there 10 to 2.
No,
she-
I'm gonna be there from noon to 2. I'm
Noon to
biking in the morning.
No, I'm sorry, not 10 to 2. Right, you said noon to 2. I misspoke. Who can be there from 10 to noon? Jordan, you able to hang out there?
Yeah, I can do that, sure.
okay.
Anyone else
I
wanna?
suppose if I bring the canopy, I'll have to be there at 10 and I will have to be there at 2 to pick it up. So, but I might take some time in between to visit some of the other places.
Okay, and
If-
just drop off, you have Pond Air Pathway.
I
info
have
that-
the trifold and I will have to make more copies of the handouts that we were giving away and need to get the medallions from the town hall because I still haven't picked them up. And a sign up sheet. And then we could start advertising that we'll be there so that people will know to come and if they want to sign up.
About those folders, Gene, do we hear those posters, see those posters?
I'm sorry. Oh, posters. I don't have any posters this year. We gave them away at the garden club plant sale.
I know someone who has posters. I don't know if I can get them before the event, but I can try.
Thank you,
That
Maura.
say what?
All about pollinators.
They're pollinator pathway posters, old ones from NRCS.
Okay, Grace, you see Pam's here now.
Okay.
Okay, so I guess Crystal, just when you
Well-
get a hold of her, just let us know for sure what time the,
Right, I will do that. This is Crystal. I did text Amy. I'm waiting to hear back. It's not Pam Spaeth that joined us. It's Pam Manella, a member of. the
oh, Pam
public.
and Elle. Oh,
Oh,
Hi,
sorry.
Pam.
never mind. I saw Pam. I'm not wearing my glasses.
Okay. Pam, who?
Manella,
Manella.
Nella.
Okay. And I'm sorry, she is with,
Member of the public.
okay,
So, yeah, I apologize. So Pam and Ella, so we passed public participation already, but we can go back if you have anything to ask or report to our esteemed body here. Are you there, Pam and Ella?
Have to unmute Pam.
Okay,
Pam, if you're
Can we-
talking, you're on mute. Yeah.
oh, there you go.
There we go. Yes, it was me. Well, hi, how you doing? My name's Ray Morgan and I'm here with Pam Manella. We're just listening in. Just
Okay.
Stay abreast of what's going on. That's all. Thank you.
Okay,
Oh,
okay,
well,
you're
welcome.
welcome. Okay, so let's move on to open discussion. Crystal, anything else to add?
No.
Jean?
I just want to mention that Roseland Lake was treated with copper, I believe, last week for the first time this season. And I do have a volunteer from the Last Green Valley who's monitoring the lake for cyanobacteria blooms and will collect a sample if she gets one that washes up on her shore and ship it to the EPA for assessment for cyanotoxins. And I learned from the Connecticut DEEP that their water quality staff is monitoring Roseland Lake this year in preparation for doing a nutrient budget for the lake as soon as next year.
Excellent.
That's great.
Grace?
Nothing else.
Lori?
Nothing to report.
Beth?
Yeah, I just wanted to thank Jean and Grace for coming to the walk of the Wabaquasit Trail on the June 20th. We had a good time. If you haven't had a chance to check it out, please do. The kiosk is to come. I think they're building it currently. Go ahead, Jean.
Did they blaze the trail yet?
I believe so. Yeah.
It was blazed
Or
when
it
we
was
went
blazed
on
when
it.
we were there. That's
I
right. The
mean,
beginning part was, there was
yeah,
something
it
that wasn't done.
It was that little section in the beginning. I'm pretty sure that Alex did it, but I'll double check.
Okay.
I wanted, is it okay if I share my screen?
Yeah.
I just wanted to share something that I just got in my inbox a little bit late, but so Eversource is doing this program aiming to improve electric resiliency, and they're doing these
Oh,
collaborative kind of tests to see if the program works, and they want to continue it throughout the state. So Woodstock is one of the towns that it has chosen to do these test programs in, because apparently we're the hardest, one of the hardest hit towns with power outages. I don't know, but basically they are taking a certain stretch of roadway in that town, and I don't know how much roadway, I don't know where it's going to be, but they are going to increase cutting in what they call the fall zone. So right now, I think they cut 10 feet to the left and right of the poles, and they haven't actually defined how long the fall zone is in this press release, but it's looking like maybe it's an additional 20 to 25 feet. So that would be 30 feet to the right or left of the electric pole to remove the tall trees. And then they said they're going to be working with homeowners to replace those tall trees with trees that only grow up to 30 feet. I just think it's something that, I don't know if the town has heard about this yet, Crystal, but I think it's something we should definitely keep an eye on. And I'm concerned a bit because some of their suggestions for short trees are not native trees. Yeah, so anyway, Crystal, have you heard anything about this yet?
Yes, I believe Eversource representatives did come in and meet with, I believe Jay and John Navarro to discuss this.
Okay. Do you know where they're gonna be working or?
I don't know, but reading the article, it looks like between those 13 communities, they're looking at a total of about 20 miles spread out
Yeah.
between 13 communities. But no, I don't know what section of roads they're looking at doing.
Okay, all right. I definitely I would be interested in seeing how that works in our town and how it goes. So keep us updated if you can.
I can do that.
I have some comments about this and concerns. We have a lot of cold water streams in the area, and when you cut the trees and increase the solar exposure on the roads, every time there's a thunderstorm in the summer, all that heated runoff is going down into the streams and I would hope that they're not choosing these widened road right-of-ways any place where it could impact water quality, and that includes temperature and streams. So it'd be something I'd be interested to learn more about if
So,
there's information available.
This is Crystal. Jean, if you want to send an email for me to pass on to our Eversource representative who came and met with the first selectman and our director of public works, I am happy to send that on to her. And Beth, the same thing. If you have concerns about the selection of trees, I'm happy to share that.
Yeah, maybe Jean and I can write a letter together.
Okay.
Yeah, I'm looking at this list of trees, and no, there's a lot of them in there that are not native.
Yeah.
Japanese maple stands out. Korean maple very clearly are not. Japanese, whatever that plethora. Those are obviously not native trees. Gee, wouldn't it be great if they planted the dogwoods that we were looking to plant along the roadways?
I
Oh my
think there
God.
is a dogwood on here, but which one is it? Let's see.
The Coosa,
That would
there's
be ironic.
a couple different dogwoods.
Yeah,
The
that's,
Coosa is not native.
no,
And the
No, but the-
Cornelian cherry dogwood,
I don't know about that one.
eastern redbuds, those are beautiful.
Yes,
Mhm.
they are.
Are
So I
they-
guess,
Are they planning to take down just the tall trees, the big trees, the tall trees, or anything that's anticipated to grow more than 30 feet? Basically, just
Hmm.
basically clearing everything in a swath up to, did you say 30 feet?
It looks like 30, but I don't know if that's the exact number. That's a very good question. I don't know the answer to that.
Because it's going to look like a wasteland when they remove a swath like that. If the goal is to clear what's anticipated to grow higher than 30 feet, that's going to be almost everything.
Yeah, they show these pictures of, replacing tall trees with shorter trees. I also don't know who's paying for these shorter trees, right? And is it be on the landowner? Yeah. 'Cause-
Some of it, yeah, some of it's gonna be private property. And they supposedly are going to speak with the owners of the land when they do the survey to see where they're looking to do these trees. And it's not just tall trees, but they're looking at ones that will impact the power sources. And this is where obviously, Woodstock is going to be one of your biggest, because we've got the biggest bloody trees and the problems. But you definitely, as you say, getting the smaller trees, yes, we want to go native, but you also want to make sure that they're not, what we have is not going to cause us to have blackouts. And it's a big concern. So much of our forest is old forest. And guess what, folks? I mean, I just had a huge branch from a 100+ foot tree fall down on my mulberry bush, and I'm not a happy camper. But that's what happens. And, that's the concern. It's not, yes, we want to stay as native as we can, and we don't want to disrupt ecosystems. But, you need to keep in mind, there's a major problem with your electricity sources.
Well, if you look at the flyer there, the before trees look like they're 25 to 30 feet. And the after trees looks like they're 6 to 8 feet.
Yeah, well, this is true. Well, when you first
I
put them
don't know
in,
if that's-
Lee, that's what they are.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think
Yeah.
the goal is to put trees in that are not gonna grow tall enough
Fast,
to interfere with the lines.
No, I get that. It's just that when the example they give, it's a 25-foot 30 tree before,
Yeah,
and it's 6 to 8 foot tree after.
this is true.
This is Crystal speaking. I did just hear from Amy Monahan, and the event at Chase is 10 to 2.
Oh, good.
Are we good or what?
Yeah.
Awesome.
Yeah, Grace, I totally agree with you about the power outages. I know we've experienced those in my house. I just want to make sure that they're doing it right.
No, and I understand that. There's always going to be a downside, with everything that they do. But it's dangerous. And, we have to take that into consideration. And it's going to go onto private property when they push these borders further out. And this is what, they're trying to make nice, even though we know these trees are,
Well,
6 to 8 feet.
we are here as the Conservation Commission, so my angle is to protect the trees. We have a generator, so I'm not so worried about
Oh,
power.
well, good for you. Not all of us are in that position.
Well, a lot
Laura.
of people have them, and that's the nature of living in Woodstock, right? And so,
Well, something,
yeah.
this is Crystal Adams, something else to consider. I mean, drive around Woodstock and you're gonna see so many dead and dying trees. Ash trees, the trees have been really hard hit the last couple of years, and there's so many that are dying and need to come down.
Right,
So
those
hopefully
ones
those
totally
trees are
make
gonna be
sense,
targeted.
but we want to make sure that we're not just doing what the utility company wants, because it's easier for them. So we just have to
Right.
look at all the
That's right.
angles to make sure that it makes sense for the environment, and that, yeah, natives is very important. That's like why we're trying to, there's pollinators that rely on oak, there's all these different really big trees that we need. So there should be some kind of a study, and we should be able to have access to that. That's all.
And does anyone know if the homeowner doesn't agree and does not want Eversource to do this, if the homeowner is allowed to refuse to have their trees cut?
I don't think that conversation has taken place, but I can tell you the bottom line is then they would be responsible if anything happens. Think about that.
It would be interesting to see that.
Yeah,
Because unless that's written somewhere, I'm not sure that it's going to become an option for the homeowner to.
So it
to,
says in this, oh, go ahead. Sorry, Lori.
No, it's okay. It would be useful to know whether homeowners have options and what's the consequences.
I agree with that. Yeah. And I
Oh,
think
yeah.
I remember a guy coming to my house and also making sure that on the
Yeah.
scenic roads, there's rules about that. And then, like, we're half on the scenic road, but I think he asked me if it was okay. So I think there is a choice now. So I don't know why that wouldn't continue.
So Eversource does legally, because of past legislation, they have to let landowners know if they're cutting the roadside.
Yep.
We'll say they've cut along, I live in 171 and they've cut along there, and we never got a letter, but maybe other people have. It does say they'll be reaching out to municipal leaders in this press release,
It's a necklace.
discuss locations. So, maybe if it's focusing on around the schools, around the town hall, around, municipal locations.
Well, you,
Landowners will be kept out of it, or, otherwise, I think, the town would have to, I hope, reach out to those residents and make sure it's okay with them.
I don't think the responsibility rests with the town. I think
No.
that's between Eversource and the residents.
Mhm.
And I think that the article that Beth is sharing states that at the bottom of the first page.
That noise.
and I think
There you go.
logically, where they're gonna start would be 169, 171, 197, 198, because that's where, the most,
Main transformers.
yeah, the main transformers, correct.
It would be neat if we could weigh in as conservation and like recommend, the trees, the native trees that we'd like to see offered as options.
Yeah, and we don't have a tree warden, right? Do we?
We do have a tree warden.
Okay. Awesome.
This is Jordan, not to mention tall trees protect the house from the weather. They shade the house, they cut those down and the house will get hotter, more electricity use and all that.
It's true.
Yeah, but remember, our conservation doesn't mean conservation. Our committee essentially is to review subdivisions. So we could share our opinion, but it's not like we're gonna carry a lot of weight.
I disagree with that, Lee, because we did weigh in on herbicide spraying on the side of the road. So
No, I'm
And
not
do you
saying
think that
not-
doesn't happen?
No, I'm
it still
saying-
happens, and we're still not notified as though we didn't make any requests, but I have
Look out
noticed.
your window, Gene.
Well, I know that, but we did make a request that we were notified. It didn't get anywhere, but we did collectively decide to write a letter to
Yes.
the highway department and ask them to notify us if they're going to be doing herbicide treatments and whether or not people could opt out of it on their property. And nothing followed up from it, but we did take an action and it had nothing to do with development. That was my point.
Well, I'm not saying not to do it, just, understand the limits to our, or what we're allowed to.
Well, here's my
What-
question.
whether
If
people
I
will
write a
listen.
letter, if I write an email to the town hall, to Jay, and am I able to speak as the Conservation Commission, or am I speaking as Jean Pillow, private citizen?
If we discuss it here and vote and agree to support your letter, then it's the commission. If you do it independent of a meeting, then it's Gene Pillow.
Okay, well, Crystal just suggested that I send an email, and I'm asking the
Well-
commission, do you want me to send this email representing myself or the
Oh.
commission?
Yeah,
That's
Lee,
right here.
that was an email to Tony that I would forward to the Eversource representative that we work with. But
Okay.
if you want to do an email, if we have questions that we want to put together, I'm happy to bring those to Jay and hopefully come back with answers at the next meeting.
Okay,
So I
I
think-
mean,
I think
as I
there's two
stated,
fronts. I think-
my concern is that the list of replacement trees includes non-native species that are not pollinator friendly, and because we're a pollinator pathway community, we encourage native plantings as, Coosa dogwoods, if we have monkeys, that'd be one thing, but we don't have monkeys that eat the fruit. We don't need those in our landscape. We have concerns about the location of this test area and whether it's within so many feet of a cold water stream, and would they consider not using a test area that could impact stream habitat from heated stormwater runoff? And
Well, is it gonna, any of it impact wetlands? wetlands will be another,
Or well, yeah,
you know, are they gonna, you know, stomp around wetlands, pulling the old trees out and putting the new trees in? Be something important.
yeah, wetlands and water resources, I'll phrase it.
There's another piece here that I think is highly concerning, and that's if they're planning to just cut a swath that's 30 feet wide with, you know, consideration for trees that will eventually exceed the height of the poles. I'm absolutely not in favor of that. And the reason is because those trees, they're not there yet. And there's many years of growth that many of those trees could have until they reach that height. So to just go through and cut a swath now, I think that there will be many homeowners that would object for lots of reasons, even if they offer to plant native trees. So if this is a collective letter or email that you're thinking about, I think there's a bigger concern, but that may not even be in our purview.
Well,
But
you could,
I wouldn't want anybody to think that I would support the cutting of just swaths that are 30 feet wide of everything in the path.
I don't think that's the goal.
And right
It's
now, we're
there-
collecting information. You know, right now, we're gonna ask our questions and then we can decide whether
Right,
we're
that's
we
great.
like it or not.
They're
Here's another
talking about the
consideration.
large trees, Laurie. They're not talking about clear cutting. That's not an
right.
option.
Yeah.
All
Well,
right, here-
if
here's a
if they're thinking about trees that will eventually exceed 30 feet, that's a lot. That's probably most of them. But if they're only concerned right now with trees that do exceed 30 feet, well, I think there's a lot of other considerations. What way is the tree likely going to fall? How does the land slope? Not every homeowner is going to be approving the cutting of trees that aren't even likely to fall on the power line. Even if they're within that 30 feet, maybe because they're on a slope that's facing away. There's lots of considerations.
So I think since I opened this can of worms, I can send out an email to everybody with like a shared Google Doc, and we can all put our questions on there, and then we can get that formatted and get it to you, Crystal, if that's okay.
Yeah,
Okay.
I just wanted to say one thing, like 30 feet. Bradford Corner Road is a scenic road, and it is lined with mature maple trees on both sides. And that's what gives it its scenic quality. And when they decided to apply for scenic road status for Bradford Corner Road, the main purpose was there was concerns when the town was improving the drainage that if they dug up the front lawns in the right of way to do that drainage construction, it would destroy the roots of those mature maple trees that give that road its character. So all the drainage improvements are actually done in the roadway itself. And so these are people who carefully thought out what they wanted to achieve with the scenic road ordinance and getting that road declared a scenic road. But those trees are definitely within 30 feet of the road. And maybe Bradford Corner Road is one of the roads that they would just like all those trees to go away because they're hazard trees to the power lines. And it's just something that we just need to discuss, that we have scenic roads and people want their mature trees and narrow roads and the nice tree canopies, which give those roads their character. And those probably would not be well received as candidates for this pilot project.
Yeah, and something like that, I think, does fall within our purview because our plan of open space and whatever it's called.
Conservation, yeah.
Yeah, conservation. I think we do promote scenic roads, so anything that would detract from the scenic roads actually, you know, would be our purview.
Well, I
I-
think Beth's idea is wonderful about getting out and Google Docs. Everybody can put their questions or queries in there, and then we can take a look at it before we send it out and send it to Eversource and let them, backtrack.
That sounds great.
Okay,
You're up, Beth.
Oh, that was it. I have no more cans of worms for the.
Beth, if you would put this document
about
into the
that.
Google Docs too?
I will email these documents to everybody.
Okay.
Meeting.
'Cause
Thank you, ma'am.
I'm really glad you brought this up. It's an issue that I'm alarmed about.
Yeah, I saw it through work and I wasn't expecting Woodstock to be on the list. So I'm glad I actually read the email.
I think
Yeah.
Ashford loses its power more often than Woodstock does. I think the sun trips over the power lines and knocks the power out there sometimes. But
My only other thing is, Lee, would you mind staying on for 5 minutes so I can check in with you for a sec?
sure.
Thanks.
Okay, and now can you return the screen to the regular viewers?
This is Crystal. Can I say something about this?
Yeah, Crystal, sure.
Okay, so I just texted Jay and he said, yeah, definitely forward us questions and he'll forward them to Eversource. And so we'll get those answers for you.
Oh, all right.
Excellent.
Yeah.
Okay, moving on to Maura.
I just want to say that I feel like it's never wrong to try to give our opinion, conservation, everything is our purview. It's okay to give our feedback, whether we think it's going to be acted on or not. I mean, I think it's just important that that's part of what we do. And I think that is our mission to, do all of that. And, to say, oh, it's not our purview. I mean, I really think that's kind of what we are here for. And, we're not regulatory, but I think they do listen to us. I mean, there was the whole thing about the forest management plan and the tree cutting and all of that. And, I think it was just, we were able to follow through on that. And, hopefully that there was some respect there. So anyway, that's just my 2 cents.
Okay. Jordan,
Nothing for me.
Pam, Pam and Roger, public, you have any comments?
No, thank you. We've been listening along and it's got some good information there.
Okay.
We'll be doing the same.
Jean's got her hand up.
Oh, Jean, back to Jean.
I just remembered that I have kits for the Salt Watch program, which is using chemical dip strips in streams to measure the chloride level in the water. And I don't know if anybody'd be interested in becoming a volunteer to do some stream testing down in Woodstock Valley, upstream and downstream of that groundwater issue that we had noted a couple years ago. There's I'm not quite sure what the actual drainage is. I have to look at the map, but I would think Bungie Brook and Still River might be some areas that we would want to get data from. And it's summer data is really important while the stream flows are low, but then there's also winter testing too, when there's, stormwater runoff during snow melt. So it would take maybe 5 trips to dip into the thing and put some information into an app and take some pictures, and that's it. Anybody down in Woodstock Valley that wants to take that on as a follow-up to that issue? I haven't heard anything from those poor unfortunate people who had their wells contaminated and what the current situation is.
How many places need to be sampled, Jean?
It would maybe 2, upstream, downstream. And
And-
a total of 5 times, once in the summer, and then while the water level's low, and then 4 times during the winter at different schedules. And it's a short process, like maybe 5 minutes to do each site. I mean, you
Is it-
literally collect a water sample, you put a dip strip in, you let it develop, you read it against the card, and you fill out the app on the phone.
I'm interested in knowing, I'm potentially interested in it, but I don't know if it's accessible. If it's very easily accessible, for example, if you have to climb over brush and all that sort of thing.
We could pick out sites once I look at the map, that I would never send you to a place where it wasn't accessible. It's one of the things that I'm very strict about, and getting property owner permission as well. So,
I might be able to help as well. I live in the valley, so depending on if it's easy enough.
Yeah, especially in the winter, it's not always so easy to tromp through snow, but I would be potentially interested in this, in helping.
I
out with
have
that.
these
Make sure I can.
golf ball retrievers that I kind of cut at the end, and I use them as sampling poles. So often you can just lean over a road crossing and grab your sample that way. That's an option too. All right. I'm gonna
Okay.
write down Lori and Maura as potential, and I'll get you more information.
Okay.
Gene, you're sinking further and further down.
Sorry.
Oh, okay, anything else for the good of the order? Is there a motion to adjourn?
Make a motion to adjourn.
Jordan, is there a second?
So moved.
Okay.
Who was
meeting-
that?
Jean.
Meeting is adjourned.
Hey, goodbye,
Everybody.
everybody.